Hi, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is C-Bus Nathan, and I am so excited for you all to learn a little bit more about an amazing nonprofit that is here in Central Ohio, Flying Horse Farms. I am joined by Cole. He works here at the organization, and can you just introduce yourself, let us know what you do here and what your role is at Flying Horse Farms?
Absolutely, thanks. So I am the camp director at Flying Horse Farms, which really just means anything that has to do with the camp experience, I probably have a hand in it. Like anybody who works in a camp role, there are a lot of hats, but just making sure that campers are having fun, staying safe, and that we are reaching the outcomes that we try to reach at camp.
So campers and at camp, what is this camp? Can you give us a little bit more details on what the mission is of Flying Horse Farms?
Yeah, for sure. So Flying Horse Farms is a medical specialty camp. Like you said, we're located in Central Ohio. So anything that you would think of for a summer camp, we have ropes course, zip line, we do canoeing, boating, fishing, anything that you would think of for summer camp, we do that. But we serve campers with medical complexities. So a lot of our population may not get to come to camp otherwise. This may be the only place that can safely serve them. So we're here to make sure that everybody that we can has an opportunity to have that camp experience.
Yeah, it's such a great community that you serve because there are a lot of people that do not get this chance in their life to experience just pure joy of summer camp. What started this camp? Where did it begin? What was the creation process? How did it come to fruition?
Yeah, for sure. So back in the day, I think around 2008, 2009, our founders, Jenny and David Belford, I believe they went to an event that was for a kid again and kind of got inspired to serve this population and caught wind of an organization called the Serious Fun Network, which is a network of camps around the globe that serve campers with serious illnesses. And it was founded by Paul Newman back many, many years ago, started up in the northeast region of the US, and has turned into over 30 camps around the world that get to serve this population.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to tour the camp with Keely, who also works here prior to sitting down and getting to chat with you a little bit. And it is amazing how expansive it is, and the sheer volume of activities that you have that you get to plan and facilitate. It really makes it so unique and special. I know Keely was mentioning that you get very focused on who's going to be here at camp and making sure that whoever is here at camp, that you have activities that they can achieve and that they can challenge by choice, I believe is what your motto is. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Like, what's the challenge by choice? I think that was such a cool motto, and I feel like it's something that I'm going to implement in my life moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. So challenge by choice is an ideology in the camp world that talks about, essentially we have 3 different zones, if you can think of a bullseye or a target. And in the very center of that zone, that would be our comfort zone. That's where anybody is in any typical day doing something that you're used to. So brushing your teeth, watching TV, chilling on the couch. Just outside of that is what we call our stretch zone. Our stretch zone is where any learning or growth or anything that really good happens, where we become better people. That's where that happens, is in that stretch zone. And then just outside of that is that panic zone. So that can look like fear, where you're crying, shut down. We don't want to get to that panic zone. So our goal is for anybody that gets here, comes to camp, whether if that's camper, volunteer, all of our staff, we always want to promote growth and healing and allow people to thrive. And we believe that reaching that stretch zone is how that happens. So whenever we design our programs, we do so, like you said, we do that with the camper with the greatest medical acuity in mind. So that means we take the time and intentionality to meet before every camp session and go through who's going to be here at camp. What does each program need to look like to make sure that we can create a community of belonging and make sure that nobody's left out at any point? Because part of that challenge by choice philosophy is it's not if I'm going to participate, it's how I'm going to participate and what role I'm going to play in this program. So we will look at what medical acuity is at camp this week, what kind of adaptations we need to have. Just as an example of some of those adaptations. So with our pool, we may have campers that are coming to camp this week with some kind of a temperature sensitivity and don't need to be shift from hot to cold very quickly. So we have a pool that's heated. Just outside of that pool, we have what we call our hatchery, which is essentially a dry sauna, but we'll heat that up to about 90 degrees. So campers who may not get the opportunity to swim somewhere else because there's such a vast temperature shift from going into hot and cold into cold water and then outside into the wind, they can do that here, and they can do that safely because of some of those adaptations that are just built into our program here.
Okay, wow. That's amazing that you take so much planning and foresight to make sure that each camper here gets their best experience possible. And I think that's one of the special things about this area. It's like you step onto the campus and it's just like instantly you're transported to almost just like a youthful, like magical place. It's like, it's hard to explain unless if you've like actually been out here and get to experience it. So how many families do you Flying Horse Farms get to serve each year?
Yeah. So we have 2 family camps in the spring, 1 in the summer, and then 4 family camps in the fall. And then we have 6 week-long residential camps. So across all of those camp experiences, we will serve around 1,000 campers.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then again, making sure that you take into account each one of those campers and making sure that you create a program that is catered to them. That's amazing. So no small feat by any means. And what programs do you offer? I know we got to go and experience a couple of them and look at various workshops and areas that you have on campus, but what all do you provide to campers?
Yeah. So when you say programs, I think about a couple of different things there. So one, we do our family camps, which is where we're able to serve not just our younger children campers, but their families, family in whatever capacity they want to call that. So in that, we have the opportunity to have some caregiver programming where caregivers get to meet other caregivers that have a medically complex kid in their life, and they get to connect on that level.
Wow.
And then while that's going on, while we have those things happening, we have all of our programs that I think is what you were referring to. So we've already mentioned we have a ropes course, a high ropes course, a low ropes course, a zip line. We have a rock climbing wall. We have canoeing and fishing. We have woodshop activities, arts and crafts. We have music, and then we also have theater. We have a lot of, like, we call them full group programs where everybody gets to come together and do some kind of a large activity, a large game. One of my favorite ones that we do, and it's a tradition here at campus called Color Olympics, where essentially the kids will all come together out in the field right behind us and throw paint on each other.
Oh, that's fun.
So they all get messy, they all get colorful. It's a lot of fun. In that, we have some adaptations, even with that full group activity for Color-O. We have low mess and no mess stations, so maybe not every camper wants to get messy and have paint all over them. They have that choice. So again, it's not if they participate, but how. So they can choose to participate in a low mess activity or a no mess activity and make it fit their needs. Trying to remember if I've missed any. We will do a full group program that we call Campfire. It's a tradition at camp that we do each session where everyone comes together, and we'll do it out at our amphitheater, or our campatheater as we like to call it.
Such a cool space.
It's
amazing.
It's an amazing space, and we will have everyone get up on stage and do skits and do songs and games and dances and just have a lot of fun out there.
That's so great. And you know, there are so many various stories that you can, you know, highlight or talk about how you've impacted these campers' lives. Is there maybe one that really stands out to you that is super impactful for the work that this organization is doing?
It's so hard to narrow it down to just one because several come to mind. One that I do think of that's really cool because you kind of get to see how this experience translates later in life. So we have one staff member who's coming back on for, I think, his third season in seasonal staff, who started as a camper.
Wow.
And then through his camper journey ended up in one of our programs called our Ranger program, which is a servant leadership based program. So we teach what it looks like to be a leader in the spaces that we are in the world and here at camp. Okay. So he came up through that program, ended up being on our seasonal staff to help lead that program, and is now our seasonal staff lead this year and will basically be the leader of our entire seasonal staff. So we've gotten to watch him grow up at camp, kind of adopt the values that we have here at camp, build a community of belonging, and give that experience to others. So a really cool
full circle moment. That's just like, I know, I was telling Kaylee that I was like, I'm really gonna try not to cry today, because it is just like such an emotional and special space that you've created up here. And Central Ohio is just so fortunate to have an organization this close to them that can benefit so many people that again don't always get an opportunity to have fun, you know. So it's so great what you do. And you know, somebody watching this video right now, like maybe this inspires them to potentially come and help. What are some great volunteer opportunities that maybe somebody could come and facilitate?
Yeah. So we have numerous opportunities for volunteering, and it can look different ways. You can be as hands-on with campers or not, as fits your needs. So I think we were talking about earlier, you've been here for what we call a Camp Creator Day. So the amount of work that goes into facilitating a camp like this is insane, and could not happen without the number of volunteers that we have that come here and help serve the mission. So as a camp creator, you can come and just help clean up camp. It's not necessarily while campers are here in the space. So after every camp session, we have to clean up cabins, we have to clean up the dining hall, everything has to be turned around. And those are vital to providing clean, safe spaces for our campers when they get to come to camp. So there are opportunities to come and serve in that capacity. There are also, like I said, every session that I named off, we'll have between 40 to 60 volunteers for each session that come and help facilitate our programs. So every session has an opportunity where you can come and be a part of the camp magic that we get to provide to these campers. So it could be as an activity counselor where you help facilitate one of our programs like archery or the wood shop. You could also come and be a cabin counselor, so actually stay in with hands-on supervision in a cabin with our group of campers, which is, it's one of the most rewarding positions that we have, I think, here as a volunteer. And then if you wanted to come for a family camp weekend, there's also an opportunity to be what we call family sidekicks, which is you don't stay in the cabins with campers in that opportunity, but you do get to hang out with the family and just basically be their liaison for the weekend, which is really fun.
That's amazing. I feel like there's just so many various opportunities for anybody out there that you can find something that makes the most sense for you. And you mentioned sessions. So each session a week long? How long are they?
Yeah, so our week-long sessions are 4 nights, 5 days.
Okay.
And then our family camp weekends are Friday through Sunday typically.
Okay. So
I did just think of a couple of other opportunities for volunteering.
Oh, yeah,
sure. So we also have facilities in the kitchen, so you can help provide those meals to campers. And one of the biggest needs that we have, so I want to make sure that I call it out, is our medical staff. So anyone who's a doctor or a nurse that has that experience, we would love to have them come and be a part of making sure that this facility is safe for every camper that gets to come to camp.
And as we sit in the well nest, which is your medical kind of hub here, correct? And I know when Keely was showing us around to the various cabins, there are spaces in there, especially if there's a camper that maybe needs a certain catered medical experience while they're here, that opportunity also lies there with volunteers or what have you to be able to facilitate and help out that way as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what is one thing, I mean, I know we've covered a lot, but what is one thing that maybe you want the masses to know about Flying Horse Farms?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's like we're narrowing it down to, I mean, you can give me a couple, but I knew nothing about it before I volunteered around this time last year, and then I got up here and I was like, how did I not know anything about this? So what's the biggest thing that maybe Flying Horse Farms is looking to push out into the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing that I think of, like, I want everyone to experience camp. If you've never been to a camp or had that experience as a volunteer or as a camper yourself, like, you can't truly understand the camp magic, as we keep saying. We keep going back to that term, but there is an amount of connection, an amount of being able to be fulfilled in what you do, amount of community and belonging that happens here that is indescribable, that you can't understand it until you come have that experience. So the one takeaway that I'd want everybody to have is that is truly magic that happens just here or just in a camp experience, and would hope that you might consider having that experience.
Of course, yeah. And if people want to help or want to contribute to that experience for campers, what is the best way for them to reach out and volunteer their time?
Absolutely. So we are on all the socials, so Facebook, Instagram. The best way to reach out and start that application process, if you go to our website, flyinghorsefarms.org, our volunteer application is there. Also, if you just have somebody that could benefit from being a camper at camp, our camper application is there. So if you want to serve as a volunteer, the best way is to go to that website, or if you just want to help spread the word, the website's the hub to go to.
Are there still spots available for this summer, this camping season, for campers to apply and potentially get in?
Yeah, so for the summer, we're getting pretty close to our limit on that. We just passed our priority deadline, but we are still taking applications up until the very last minute. We do have our fall camps that are still available, and those applications are wide open, and we're ready to receive those. For the volunteer application, we'll continue to take those in right up until the time of camp. So if you want to volunteer, just reach out anytime. We'll find a spot.
Beautiful. Well, we appreciate you taking time for us today to learn more about Flying Horse Farms. Hopefully this has helped impact you, and maybe you learned something new that you didn't know about in another amazing Central Ohio nonprofit. If for any reason you have questions or anything like that, you can always contact Flying Horse Farms. I will link their website below, and we appreciate your time watching. And until next time, click like, subscribe, see us Nathan for more great nonprofits within the Central Ohio area.